Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday, March 27th, 2017, the state of Michigan paid the city of Flint $97 million in damages for the water crisis that became a national news story January 5th, 2016, 447 days earlier. What we're going to talk about in this video is how this water crisis was on purpose, this was managed, and it was foretold truly in a 1974 film called Three the Hard Way about a white supremacist plot to poison the water of a black city, such as Flint, Michigan. There's a reason the settlement was $97 million. We're going to get into that. What people need to know, in case you're new here, is I've been making these videos exposing these types of plots. This is way bigger than Flint, Michigan, for going on 4 years. The people who are doing this are the Freemasons and Zionist Jews who control media, government, money, who are very racist, who are very hateful towards all people, but seemingly hate black people the most. So we're going to get into this. The date this happened was a very specific date, synced up with the day the national news story began. It has everything to do with Michigan and racism and civil rights. We're going to talk about the Flint story. Then we're going to talk about why on March 21st, a specific date, it became a national news story about missing young black teenage girls in Washington, D.C. These stories are interrelated. I'm also going to give you some new knowledge on Black History Month, February. So Michigan to pay $97 million in Flint settlement. We're going to get to why 97. I want to begin with the date. The date of this incident had 67 numerology, as well as 47. We're going to get to 47, but we're starting with 67. March 27th, 2017, just as you see on the screen, date was 67 numerology. And the language of gematria, water equals 67. And what's interesting about water summing to 67 is the direction west equals 67. Think about where English was crafted and think about what west of them was. The Atlantic Ocean. Nothing but water. Gematria, ancient knowledge, very relevant to the English language. Water equals 67. The date numerology 67. A settlement for poisoned water by the numbers. So now 97. There's a lot of things that are interesting about this number. We're going to start here. 97 is the 25th prime number. Flint equals 25. Prime number relationship, super important in this study. Flint 25, 97 million settlement. Before the Super Bowl was played, I explained why the Patriots should win and why it would be centered around the number 25. Lo and behold, they did win. They came from 25 points down, an NFL record, all part of the script. Your pro sports are scripted, just like your news. It's all planned by the numbers. It's all Freemasonry. And as I was explaining, Donald Trump would have a lot to do with the AFC winning its 25th Super Bowl. Donald Trump was a big Patriots fan. AFC got its 25th Super Bowl. Tom Brady got its 25th Super Bowl win. Anyway, Trump, 25. Think about Donald Trump, racism, him being the president at the time of this symbolic story. None of this is coincidental. The day after the Super Bowl, by the way, this last Super Bowl was the 97th season of the NFL. That's why 25 was so huge. Bill Belichick equals 97, the coach of the Patriots. Anyway, the day after the Super Bowl, it was 97 companies against Donald Trump. You know, we're living in this moment where the media is putting all this attention on race and division and hate, and now we have this crazy orange Oompa Loompa president. None of this is coincidence. It's all part of a master plan agenda being rolled out against us. You know, Michael Vick retiring before the stooge puppet Tom Brady wins his 5th Super Bowl. If the NFL weren't rigged, Michael Vick would probably have 15 Super Bowls. Has he even been in the NFL that long? He probably would have won every season, is my point. Tom Brady. Actor-athlete. Scripted sports. Scripted news. So anyway, Flint has that 187 gematria. Flint, 187. Number of homicide, killing, special number. See my videos on 187 throughout history. With regards to 97, it's also a number that's connected to the Civil War, division, race. It's also a number connected to death. It's also a number stamped on black people. There's a reason Notorious B.I.G. died in 97 on March 9th. See my work. There's a reason this story is coming right after the anniversary of his death. Truly, all of these things are planned and orchestrated together. We're living out a massive agenda that was planned long ago, and the pieces are just being filled in as we move along. So, March 27th, 2017, the date of this news, also a date with 47 numerology. The word racist equals 47. 47 is the reflection of 74. Again, we're talking about Freemasonry. The Freemason compass, their logo, the compass and square with the G in the middle. The compass is at 47 degrees. Super special number. Number we talk a whole lot about. See my work on the Freemason compass and 47 and the 47th problem of Euclid. Anyway, racist has that gematria of 47. Racism is foundational in this world we live in because it's all about divide and conquer. And we're all taught to hate each other over race, religion, sexuality, and more, you know? But anyway, the reflection of 47 is 74. Flint, 74. Masonic, 74. The current mayor of Flint is a woman named Weaver, who's 58 years old, like the governor of Michigan, Rick Snyder. We'll talk more about Rick Snyder. Anyway, 74, in that year, a movie came out called Three the Hard Way, which is about white supremacists poisoning a water supply of a black city. Check this out. Three the Hard Way has gematria of 74, like white supremacist. The film's about white supremacists poisoning a predominantly black city's water supply. Flint has the 74 connection. We know how the powers that shouldn't be, the Freemasons, they control entertainment, media, news, government. We know how they like to put their predictive programming everywhere, including Hollywood theatrical releases, such as this film. With regards to the $97 million settlement, white supremacist also has the 97 gematria connection. And in case you're wondering how this works, just down below in the description, I will plug this calculator. When I began this study, I only knew about reduced and ordinal. In recent times, we've learned about the reverse, which we found out is just as relevant. We were just talking about 187. Notice George Washington's 187. If you type in Washington, D.C., which is named after George Washington, it's also 187 in reverse. We just saw Donald Trump have his GOP convention on July 18th, 18/7, 187 days before Inauguration Day. You know, the last Republican president was George W. Bush, George Washington, George W., born on the 187th day of the year, July 6th. So anyway, this forwards and backwards, very relevant. I just had white supremacist up here. Notice the 74 coding. Do you remember the contrived story in Charleston where the Civil War once began? The contrived, more recent story, Dylan Stormroof, the white supremacist who went into the Charleston church and shot the innocent black people. Do you remember this story? Dylan Stormroof, the exact same gematria as white supremacist, using these two methods. The only two I used to know about. But anyway, now we learn these other methods so interrelated. On March 22nd, there was the story about the white man going to New York City to kill black people. I just put out the video on this. His name's summed to 223. This is what they do. They make news by the numbers. They're very ritualistic. This number 74 right here, from the very first video I made, I explained that is one number to know. 47, 74, 33, the numbers to know. Masonic 74, Jewish 74, Freemasonry, Judaism, nearly one and the same. English 74, Gematria 74. The history of this nation, it's all 7 and 4. There's a reason our birthday is July 4th, and it's even coded in the English language. Holiday 74, Independence Day 74. You know? So 3 the hard way. White supremacists, targeting water, Black City. Years later, we get this story in Flint, Michigan. And in fact, you know what, True Seeker? From 74 to 2016, when this became a national news story, that's 42 years, and we know how they love to code 42 on black people. It's sick. The most hateful word, 42. Just like February is the only month with 42 Gematria, Black History Month, ending on the awkward 59th day. 59, another number stamped on black people throughout history. So anyhow, Karen Weaver, this woman with the 74 name, she's class of 77 from Flint. We know how special 77 is to this nation as well. Washington, D.C. on the 77th meridian, connects to the name United States of America, connects to Freemasonry, secret society. She's 58 years old, like the governor, and let's not forget that Freemasonry equals 58, secret society. These politicians, these people in places of authority, they are all agents selling us out. And the system was designed this way. Authority 47, agent 47. The Freemason compass at 47 degrees. The Freemasons have Euclid's 47th problem about how to establish foundation. We were talking about the NFL, the Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl was the 47th season of the NFL, not by coincidence. We just saw the racism coded into the Super Bowl, the Denver Broncos defeating the Carolina Panthers with the Black Panther on the side of their helmet. We're going to get to the Black Panther Party. I want you to know this right now, though. Freemasonry equals 58. Like secret society, people know that the Nation of Islam is Freemasonic. Nation of Islam, 58. The man who founded the Black Panther Party, Huey P. Newton, his name equals 58. And Cam Newton, for the Carolina Panthers, he was the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl that was hosted in the Bay Area. Huey P. Newton started the Black Panther Party in Oakland, 58. They call the basketball team Golden State there, 58. All of this stuff is ritual, planned out way in advance. That's how Cam Newton, with the Black Panther on the side of his helmet, became the 58th quarterback to start in a Super Bowl. We're going to end up talking about Black History Month in 213 and Tupac Shakur and his mother, the Black Panther, his death. More to come, you know. Just trying to keep you glued in case you're like doubting what I'm saying. I know I get new people here who probably turn this stuff off in 2 minutes because they think it's bogus, but they don't know what they're missing out on. A lot more to come in this video. So, the day this became a national news story, which was January 5th, 2016, right here, state of emergency declared by Michigan on January 5th, 2016. Rick Snyder, who's now 58 years old. From that date to the date of the settlement was 448 days or 64 weeks. And that's the big one. Michigan equals 64. The Civil Rights Act happened in 64. Civil rights equals 64. The first black president was Barack Hussein Obama, which equals 64, just like civil rights. He was elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act, becoming the 44th president. The face of the Civil Rights Act, MLK, killed on 4/4. Malcolm X killed on a date with a life lesson number of 44. His assassin got 44 years in prison. With regards to 44, that's a number connected to killing all throughout history. The word kill using the alphabetic order is 44. K is 11, I 9, L 12, L 12, 11 plus 9, 20, plus 12, 32, plus 12, 44. Kill 44. So many people throughout history have died by the number 44. It is amazing. Flint, Michigan happens to have this Gematria 44 in the Kabbalah cipher. And call it coincidental, but it seems that this city was targeted for this planned item. And on this story in Flint, Michigan, this is foreshadowing what is to come to other cities in the future. if it hasn't already been done already and not made a national news story. You know, part of the reason the powers that shouldn't be do this to us is because they put it in front of our face and then they say, what are you going to do about it? None of you are going to do anything about it because you're all too busy trying to keep up and keep your own self afloat. So anyway, Flint, Michigan has this gematria of 44 and 71. Those are the only two numbers when written out that sum to 144 in ordinal. The only two numbers, they're coded onto Flint, Michigan. Water crisis also has that gematria of 144. What are the odds? You know, and numbers that have to do with death and killing, we're talking about poisoning water. From Rick Snyder's 58th birthday to the settlement was 221 days, the number of the Bavarian Illuminati, which is Freemasonry. Probably not a coincidence. The man chosen for this very racist ritual. The date this film came out, Three the Hard Way, date with 125 numerology. Flint, Michigan also has gematria of 125. Talked about the 71. You know, a lot of things point to the fact that this movie was foreshadowing what would come to Flint, Michigan. And back when I made this original post, I didn't know about reverse gematria. This is from June 15th, 2016. Notice the director of the film, Gordon Parks Jr., gematria of 67, like the word water, like the date of the settlement. That's what I mean. These numbers are so relevant. All right, so now let's jump to the missing black girls. This story became national news March 21st. March 21st, it was because of a letter written by the Congressional Black Caucus, which has gematria of 113, just like the phrase missing black girls. A lot of people have asked me, Zach, what about the missing black girls? You know, they got everyone saying this term. Remember, 113 is a number that they code into their mainstream lies. 113, mainstream, dishonest. Words like bullshit, 113. Fiction, 113. Now understand, I'm not saying that this story is bullshit. There's a lot of missing teenagers in the world. I used to work in a teen homeless shelter helping find missing teens. This is going on all over the world. People of all races. There's black missing teens. There's white missing teens. There's Hispanic. There's even Asian missing teens. There's missing teens of all races. So why did they make this a national news story on March 21st? Why is this viral news right now? March 21st is the date the first tweets were put out by the DC Police Department about missing girls. March 21st can be written 21/3, number stamped all over black people throughout history. Black History Month 213, Black Panther 213, slang term and satanic gematria nigga 213. And just so you know, this satanic gematria is very interesting. I want to show you something. Satanic gematria, 666. What's special about this cipher... Wait a minute. Where did... Oh, Derek must have edited the website. There used to be a button here that showed the ciphers. There's probably still a way to do it. Or hold on, that's why. I made a mistake. Here we go. You gotta click the cipher and then it'll show you. So, satanic, instead of starting A as 1, it starts A as 36, and instead of ending Z as 26, it ends Z as 61. It beginning with 36 is interesting, because if you add every number 1 through 36 together, it totals 666, and this is called satanic gematria. But in this format, this number stamped on black people and attached to a lot of young black deaths, 213. So anyway, Black History Month 213, Black Panther, number that comes up a lot in history. Now some more news about black missing girls on 213. One of the girls' name from March 21st, Winter Griffin. Winter Griffin, gematria of 86, like the word symbol, like the word triangle, like pyramid. Also like Congressional Black Caucus. The Congressional Black Caucus wrote a letter which made this the bigger news story than the police department putting out the tweets. March 21st. Also, Shania Boyd. Missing since 9:30 p.m. They said she disappeared on March 18th at 9:30. That's so interesting because that's the 77th day of the year. Christ equals 77. In the New Testament, there's 318 instances of the mention of the return of Christ. Christ on the crucifix 93, God's Son 93. They love to use these numbers of Jesus and the cross. Chuck Berry died on this day by the numbers. See my work on the death of Chuck Berry? Anyway, very interesting time and date. Her name, Shania, is also 33. Think about Jesus on the cross at 33. Race war, federal. Shania Boyd, also gematria 52, like government, like authority. Also gematria 56, like Washington, D.C., Society of Jesus. Think about missing children, the Jesuit order. Think about how Washington, D.C. is between Maryland and Virginia, the Virgin Mary. It used to be ruled by the Catholics. It used to be the Catholic colony, the CC, the 33. The Society of Jesus. March 18th, also the 77th day of the year. Police officer 77, police department 77. Remember the July 7th Dallas police shooting, the worst loss of life for a police department since September 11th. September 11th, 77. See my work on 9/11 and 77. It's mind-blowing. So, again, 213. Negative number on black people throughout history. One of the easiest to understand examples is the death of Tupac Shakur. He died February 13th. He died in 1996 on September 13th. He released All Eyes on Me February 13th, 1996, 2/13. He would die 213 days later. Regarding the date Tupac died, September 13th, you should know this about his name, Tupac Shakur, sums to 139. 13/9, September 13th, Freemasonry, the same gematria. Also, February 13th, the day his album released, that's the 44th day of the year, the kill number, and that's also the first day of Lupercalia, which has that gematria 44. Tupac Shakur, All Eyes on Me, 2/13, dead 213 days later. And remember, the album that came out after his death, Machiavelli, where it shows Tupac on the cross. Let's look at the gematria of Machiavelli. Machiavelli, the way he spelled it, was 74, just like Jesus, just like cross. And Tupac's mother was announced dead last year on May 3rd, 2016, which is the real Machiavelli's birthday. Not by coincidence. You know, we were just talking about 74. It's a number connected to killing. Notorious B.I.G. died 74 days before his 25th birthday in 97. Tupac Shakur. His mother was a Black Panther, by the way, where we began. Black Panther 213. Tupac Shakur, dead 213 days after All Eyes on Me. So here's some more knowledge. We've uncovered these other relevant gematria ciphers, things I haven't touched in the first few years of my teaching. I just want to go over all of these and what's so significant. We talked about this, 213 on the slang term nigga, the acceptable way to say the word that's almost like a greeting within black culture. But remember, these words given to us, ultimately, they're to control us, and one of the main control mechanisms is divide and conquer. This word, it applies to a group, right? Group, meaning it's divided from the rest. And we've seen how many young black people died by 213. That post I just had up, at the bottom of this post, I have the death of Len Bias linked. If you want to search my YouTube videos, I have 2 on the death of Len Bias. One of them's on 213. Kobe Bryant's final game, 200. Sorry, lots of people coming to the door this morning. But anyway, I was saying, Kobe Bryant scored 60 to finish his career 213 days after the death of Moses Malone, which was also on September 13th, special date. Kobe plays in the 213 area code. Kobe connected to Philly like Moses Malone. Kobe finishes with 60 points. Moses Malone dead at age 60, 213 days later. It's all rituals. Rituals and numbers. Again, Black History Month 213. Black History Month in two different ciphers is 213. The alphabetic order and the Kabbalah-related cipher, KFW. It's interesting that in Chaldean, which is also Kabbalah-related, Black History Month is 59. That's the number stamped on black people. February 28th is the 59th day of the year. The slang term also has the gematria of 38, something I've been talking about for years. So many rappers have died on dates with 38 numerology, including Tupac, Notorious B.I.G., Africa 38, Jamaica 38, Death 38. Just real quick, in case you missed that, we began with Flint, the $97 million settlement, 97, the 25th prime, Death connects to 25 as well as 97. Tupac died at age 25. Notorious B.I.G. died in 97, just shy of being 25, 74 days shy. Black History Month in reverse reduction also sums to 93. Remember how relevant that number is to Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, who both died at age 39 and only met one time in history, a date with 93 numerology. Malcolm X, also that gematria of 93. And notice Malcolm X has the 42 stamped, so does the name Martin, number stamped on black people throughout history. Not by coincidence. So this is what's really going on in the world. Racism by the numbers, which is an old practice, ongoing, severely needing to be stopped. I hope I explained this clearly enough. Learn the language of gematria. You'll see what's really going on in this world. And somebody wrote me a comment today. They wrote me a message and they said, Zach, I've seen your work on 42 and 59 and black people, and I don't get why this number code is stamped. Why would they do this to us as a race? I take it the person who was writing me was black. And what I would say to them and everyone else and what I've said before is it seems when you take all the pieces of the puzzle and you start to put them together, it seems that a lot of this goes back to the Bible. In the Bible, the ancient Israelites, the ancient Jews, were dark-skinned people, seemingly black people, hair of wool, and they're described as God's chosen people. And a lot of people say to say a certain race is divisive, and it is in a way. But honestly, if you look at the people of the world, there's amazing people of all races, religions. But if you look at the people of the world and you look at who is used to occupy the minds of the masses, entertain the minds of the masses, again, there's people of all races that do it, but predominantly, it truly seems that black people have been given these extra gifts, from singing to athleticism to so many other things. And what it seems is that somebody has wanted to steal that identity of God's chosen people. And in wanting to steal that identity, they've also wanted to destroy, the people who might be chosen above all. And with regards to the 38 coding on, Africa, we were talking about Africa, Jamaica, the slang term. So many people dead by that number. Death, Again, in the Bible, the Jews have dark skin. Jew. Who is the true Jew? See my video on the basketball player Amari Stoudemire discovering he was a Jew and then wanting to go in Israel and spend his time over there? Using celebrities, pro athletes to possibly reveal the truth of history that's been buried. So, I don't know for certain that that's the absolute truth, but I think you look at the evidence, what's going on in the world, I think it's hard to deny. To me, it makes the most sense. It says in the Bible, the false Jews will rule in the end times. Well, who wrote the Bible? Was it the false Jews? That's what I also think. And I think that was some of the predictive programming. Just like putting something in a 1974 movie about poisoning a black city for white supremacy. You know, this news comes just after the headlines of the white supremacists in New York. See if I can find this real quick. Recent blog post. James Harrison Jackson, the white supremacist who traveled to New York to kill black people. You know? On March 22nd. And again, it's deeper than race. It's, let's see if I got this. This London air helicopter on March 22nd. Here was another divisive story from March 22nd. This one was about, you know, targeting Islam, other dark-skinned people. Look at the helicopter that was on display for this stage scene in London on March 22nd. London Freemasons, compass and square on the side, 47 degrees. Worldwide, this is what's going on. Freemasonry, running the show by the numbers, keeping people divided, fighting. That's all for now, Truth Seeker. Until next time.